Humanity has always been interested in its future, but as we all saw in 2020, it is not easy to predict it. However, there are some technological trends that allow us to imagine what our world in 2050 might look like. Improved humans. Human body modifications are a very interesting way to the technological process, but also very unpredictable in their consequences. Of course, the benefits here are enormous. For example, a person has a lost leg. Now it will not be a stigma of inferiority for him. Imagine the mass production of artificial organs, from eyes to the heart, that can completely replace the original or even surpass it. That way, a person could live a long and fulfilling life. It is unlikely that modifications to the human body will be limited to medical indications. After all, there is a great temptation to become faster, stronger, more beautiful, even if it is for this purpose. It will be necessary to sacrifice your own imperfection biological material to obtain an ideal appearance or even a completely new sense organ, which will completely change the perception of the world. Another question is, are improved humans real people or not? How will these cyborgs relate to ordinary people? Will there be mixed schools, families, hospitals, sports teams, etc., or will humanity be divided into classes? Will these technologies be protected, for example, from outside attacks? For example, will these cyborgs not become puppets of biohackers? Wouldn't these electronic improvements be the perfect opportunity for surveillance by the state or large corporations? Another interesting topic is the augmentation of brain capabilities. These are implants that replace the smartphone, which allow the power of thought to communicate with a friend or order a pizza, and also, for example, to create a kind of memory storage of a lifetime of consciousness, where everything is guaranteed to be stored, and you can also use convenient search and scrolling. Now you'll have no problem remembering where you put the TV remote yesterday or in January 15 years ago. Better nerve cells will appear. In the long term, we can talk about immortality of the individual, which will be preserved inside a machine, or even with the brain that will be replaced by nanorobots. But again, big opportunities lead to big risks. Once again, there are doubts about the security of personal information. After all, this is an opportunity for hackers, instead of creating phishing web pages, to build a full phishing reality for their victims, to whom they can erase their memories and make robots of them. Cheap flights. Thanks to breakthroughs in battery technology, it'll be possible to convert airplanes to electricity. Imagine how much lower the prices of flights would go if no gasoline was used, not to mention the environment. So if a price of a flight is about the same as a train ticket, can you imagine the opportunities people would have? However, it will also affect passenger comfort because the planes will be maximally filled with travelers. Already, patents are getting some pretty strange inventions. Bicycle-like airplane seats, placing passengers on two levels, different divisions of the airliner cabin with vertical partitions where passengers can be placed one above the other in staggered order. But it won't look like a subway car at rush hour. After all, it's still necessary to adhere to safety standards so that in extreme cases passengers can leave the cabin in the minimum time. In order not to lose VIP customers, the salon will be divided. Perhaps instead of classes, zones of interest will be made where someone will play VR golf, one individual will do virtual shopping, the others will enjoy the flight in the massage chairs, and others will choose to communicate with loved ones via video. The outer shell of the fuselage would be made of nanomaterials. This smart membrane will be able to control air pressure and temperature, change transparency. After all, using electric engines, it's not possible to heat the outside air. For environmental purposes, it will even be able to recover passengers' body heat to heat the cabin. For example, how to maintain humidity, the moisture is in the air they exhale, is used. Smart clothes. Even today, electronics are being incorporated into many of the things around us. In 2050, there will be opportunities to minimize products, increase their lifespan, and reduce their cost. So it's quite possible that in 30 years they will either be directly woven into fabric or added as accessories, such as buttons, belts, and so on. It will become absolutely normal to wear batteries, generators, cameras, Wi-Fi antennas, data storage devices, and so on. Imagine if we built miniature solar panels or generators into clothing that produced energy from human movement. This would allow a lot of people to carry their computers and devices with them or on them. Instead of a keyboard or touchpad, human speech, gestures, or even eye movements can be used. Thanks to touch sensors embedded in clothing, medical surveillance systems can be much improved. In case of accidents such as an accident or a crime, they will provide additional information. They will have built-in information retrieval functions based on the ordering and retrieval of the secondary memories recorded with them. Reduced gravity hotel. By 2050, a space station will be built where one of the sectors will rotate constantly. In this way, an artificial gravity will be created. The first station will simulate the gravity of Mars or the Moon. In this way, it'll be possible to study the effect on humans of being in a zone of reduced gravity. That kind of space hotel can be made on the station, the profits from which will be used to ensure the operation of the station. At that time, commercial space travel will be accompanied by accommodation in hotels with zero gravity. After experiencing weightlessness, many people will find it more pleasant to be in reduced gravity. Therefore, they will choose hotel rooms with reduced rather than zero gravity. More people will travel in space each year than the number of all astronauts who have been in space in the 20th century. Artificial intelligence for the elderly. Perhaps in 2050, the lives of grandparents will be much improved. Using a subcutaneous chip connected to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 5G, NFC, GPS, and other types of communication, it will be possible to solve the following problems. Taking a person's health parameters, especially in critical situations, provision of medicine, notification of relatives and healthcare systems. Through the use of geolocation, the ability to find a person if he or she is lost or missing, identification of mental disorders and notification of loved ones and psychologists, assistance and risk prevention in domestic conditions, turning on the oven, controlling the gas supply, closing taps, sending an order to the store, etc., paying bills, maintaining social relationships, hyperbaric chambers, thanks to which medications can be administered through the respiratory tract, control of the smart home, although we can see a huge threat here in case of hacker attacks. A new approach to nutrition. In 2050, industrial livestock production will disappear. Even how people understand that this industry is one of the factors influencing climate change and destroying the environment, biological species are being exterminated and their habitat is being destroyed. There is also hunger and deterioration of health indicators all over the world. Today, many people are dramatically changing their approach to food production. There is a significant increase in the number of people choosing healthier plant-based foods. Vegetarianism is becoming popular worldwide. Artificially cultured meat is now in the early stages of development, and in 2050 it will be able to supply the world's food supply. The meat is grown from animal stem cells taken by biopsy. This procedure does not cause any harm to the animals. The resulting products are very healthy. They can regulate the content of fats, proteins, and nutrients. Switching to this kind of food system will not only affect the improvement of health and the environment by no longer exploiting animals in the food, entertainment, research, and sewing industries, humanity's self-image will move to a whole new level of kindness, inclusiveness, and empathy. Universal basic income. China is one of the first countries to successfully implement mandatory universal basic income (UBI) for most of its citizens. Taxes on corporate income generated by the automation of agriculture, manufacturing, and commerce go to sponsor the UBI program. To raise capital, UBD funds will go through managed investment accounts. After 20 years, they will be turned over to citizens. The program will start in the 2030s, and in the 2050s they'll begin to pay ongoing UBD payments. This money is distributed among citizens, taking into account their social rating and the extent to which automation affects their employment prospects. New Atlantis. Severe weather deterioration in southern Louisiana is causing flooding in New Orleans. As global warming is observed, the situation is unlikely to improve. Many already know that the greenhouse effect has caused glaciers to melt and lead to rising ocean levels. Louisiana has been left without 5,000 square kilometers of area for the past 90 years, and the process continues. Most likely in 2050, New Orleans will be completely underwater. What if it doesn't just drown, but becomes an underwater city? If it is possible to create a huge glass dome with strong and thick walls and a base at the bottom of the sea, by pumping water out of it, a huge bubble of air could be created, so that the air doesn't lift the dome. It will need to be securely fixed. The fresh air will pass through large pipes, also very strong, so that they will not be damaged by sea creatures. Another obstacle is the pressure of the water column. Although there is a theory that after spending enough time at depth, a person will be able to adapt to this pressure, if adaptation does not happen, people will be able to live closer to the surface in more tolerable conditions. If this project succeeds, there's a chance to save New Orleans. Perhaps after the changes, it will even be called the New Atlantis. Considering how much technology has changed over the past 20 years, it's safe to say that in 2050, mankind will experience many more incredible things. This, of course, if various ingenious inventions are not banned. More details on our last video. And what do you expect from the future? Write in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be the very first to see new videos. Thanks for watching.